Anime presents That Time I Tuned Into a Podcast Just to Listen to Somebody Shill for a Publisher. I'm your host, Zeke Changers, along with the editor-in-chief of Honey's Anime, the one who put the lucky in Lucky Star, Alfonso Ortiz. How you doing, Fonzy?
Well, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, it is nice and sunny, and we are in our post-Olympic anime catch-up. So, yeah, I'm doing good. I've got more shows than I've got time to watch.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I'm watching way too many. I don't know what to say, but I'm glad that you're gonna be able to catch up now. That's great.
Are, are there really too many?
You
Uh,
know, every season, yes, there is, and I make it a point to try and check out every anime. So we're talking at least 28 plus series
uh,
that I at least check
20,
out.
so 28 times 22 minutes is
Oh man,
more math than
gosh.
I can do, and that's
You
a lot of hours in the day.
I was gonna say, I came here to do a podcast, and now I'm
Not math.
having to do math.
Well, don't worry. I'll remind you and our listeners on what we do, and a quick recap on what we do on that time I tuned into a podcast just to listen to someone shill for a publisher. I'll start off with a description of a manga or light novel that I read recently, and give you my honest opinion, and then Fonzie will have his turn, and then we'll share a title we'll call Honey Chan's Pick, and it's something that we think you should pick up. All right, you ready there, Fonzie?
Yes, I am. Let's do it.
All right. This is the a first for me. It is a space-based isekai.
A space-based isekai?
Yes,
Ooh.
space-based isekai called
Okay.
Reborn as a Space Mercenary. I woke up piloting the strongest starship. Of course, he would be OP, um, even in space. So,
What do you
uh,
know?
yes, this is by the author Ruto.
Hmm.
And it's published by Seven Seas Entertainment. And it has to do with a guy by the name of Hiro, or AKA Sato Takahiro. He is swept away from his ordinary life and into his favorite video game, a universe of space battles, interstellar colonies, when Satoru Takashiro is swept away from his ordinary life into the world of his favorite video game, a universe of space battles and interstellar colonies, and the danger in the vastness of outer space awaits him. He becomes a space mercenary in a tricked out space battleship. He, of course, gets a babe on each arm. And the cool thing is, the ship that he has is the one he built in his space RPG. So he knows the ship in and out,
Okay,
and
okay.
it is totally tricked out. Let's say he probably spent some money on some special events in order to get the perfect spaceship.
Right.
Uh, yeah,
Like you do in a game.
yeah, and it's all about his adventures. A big part of that is killing space pirates, and then getting in trouble. He's got the ship's name is the Krishna. It's totally overbuilt. It's not Serenity from Firefly, if you remember that
Okay.
uh,
Oh no, I
series.
remember.
Yeah. So it's definitely not Serenity from Firefly. This is like a top of the line, got the best shields, got the best lasers,
Oh, it's
kind of
like Mandalorian ship or something like that, maybe.
yes, but before the Mandalorian like trashes it.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Yes. And because he's been reborn or transported to another world, he's got to get some babes.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got to get some babes. One is Elma, who he refers to as a poor little space elf. She's another merc. Um, she starts off with their roles reversed. She's got the experience, he doesn't, and she ends up screwing up and ends up with him on his spaceship. She does have long, pointy ears, so hence the space elf. space elf moniker,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he gets Mimi. He rescues this girl, and takes her aboard his ship, and teaches her how to be an operator, which is sounds
Okay.
like a Rio, which is a radar intercept officer.
Okay.
So kind of a co-pilot. I don't want to give away too much, but he rescues Mimi from a large a gang of thugs who are going to force her into prostitution.
Dang. All right.
Yeah. So, he rescues Mimi, takes her aboard the ship, and Mimi's like, the only way I can earn my keep is for us to sleep together. He's reluctant at first, but it doesn't last long. So very quickly, our hero becomes a hero and has a girlfriend, and then a space elf. So yeah, he he is one of those guys who is. This is just one of those days.
Okay.
Very quickly, our guy becomes a hero by earning a girlfriend and a space elf. So it's kind of like a girlfriend kind of thing going on for this guy
Okay.
aboard his badass battleship. Um, yeah, it's quite interesting. Each character has its own quirks.
Mhm.
Like, you know, Elma, the space elf, is definitely an alcoholic. Um, yeah, so
That's a
she's
nice
got some
quirk.
problems. Yeah, she's got some problems. She has what someone described as bystander syndrome. When Mimi is about to be attacked by all the guys, she's like, this stuff happens, and doesn't want to intervene.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, yeah, so yeah, she's a little jaded, and she's a little pissed that, this rookie has become, you know, the end all and be all of space mercs. Um,
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
Mimi,
interesting
on the
too.
other hand, um, is of the opinion that Buxom is better. If she can show a little more, she shows a little more.
I see.
Uh, yes, she's very much into the bridge bunny idea, where she's gonna sit on the bridge and uh, be not only functional but aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, like I said, this is the first time I've read a space version, a sci-fi version of being reborn or sent to another world.
Yeah.
So so far it's interesting. Now our guy hero has uh, he's got a brass pair.
Okay.
He thinks a little much of himself, but I think that's because his first encounter with space pirates, he whipped him 3-1. So
Yeah.
I understand the cachet he feels, but I'm not to a point yet where I'm like, this guy needs his ass kicked. But I'm pretty sure at some point it will happen, and he'll have to reevaluate some things.
That'll be a nice arc right there.
Yes,
To tell you the
yes,
truth.
yes. We can hope. We can definitely hope.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. So I kind of see. He has a bit of an advantage considering it's you know a ship that he designed within the game, so he's very
Yes,
familiar with and everything. And so I mean, at least there's that. It's not like him just waking up and not knowing like anything, and then
right.
trying to find his way across the ship or around
And
it, and how to assert himself with everyone that's there and understanding. So yeah,
and luck into everything, which happens to some of our
that's very true.
clueless
Luck is a
clueless
huge
protagonists.
factor in these.
Yeah. So I think it's been pretty interesting. It's an easy read, but a lot of light novels are. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen in the next volume. Got a lot on my reading list, so I'm not there yet. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think
and
it's worth for its difference. Just because it's not a fantasy
yeah.
setting,
Hmm.
it is a sci-fi setting. I think that's worth picking up and taking a look.
Yeah, I mean, like if you really think about it, it's not too different in a way. It's more just the theme, the setting. Because I'm pretty sure you can mix in a few other ideas within a space genre compared to a fantasy genre, but I feel like the setup and everything would kind of be the same. It's just different,
Hey,
something good.
hey, Gene Roddenberry sold the idea of Star Trek to Columbia or CBS
Hmm.
on by calling it Wagon Train to the Stars. That's how
I
he
did not
sold
know that.
he sold it by saying it's like it's a western but in space. It's wagon train to the stars. And then he went and created some of the most uh, groundbreaking and thought-provoking science fiction of all time. So yeah, it wasn't exactly what Columbia Pictures was looking for, but or CBS was looking for, but hey, it got him on the air.
I did not know that. That's really funny. Okay. What the
So
hell?
what you been reading?
All right, so I've been checking out a lot of stuff. Honestly, everything's been kind of all over the place. I've finally come to a point where I've read some titles and they're kind of like not too interesting to me, so I've dropped them. One of them, I think, what was it called? Number five. That one I read the manga and it was really interesting. So long story short, it's too uh, eclectic in a sense with its characters and its art style too. But anywho, that was one, and then I got a couple of other ones that were from Viz. Um,
Okay.
okay, so I'm just gonna mention these really quick because it's not. I barely got them, and I wanted to read them before the podcast, but I didn't have enough time. But it's Disney's Cruella and
Oh,
Star. Yeah, that one I want to check it out just for the heck of it, and it's by Hachi Ishii. So he did the Japanese that did this, so it's like a Japanese Disney manga version. But it's arranged in Western style where you read right to left. No, left to right. Sorry,
left.
left to right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, because I'm doing
left
that right
to right.
now on my screen. I'm reading left to right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the other one is a Star Wars. It's Guardians of the Whills, the manga. So this one is the one where it was from Rogue One, and it has the pair. Gosh, I forget their name. But it was a pair of Jedi, or one of them was at least, and in Rogue One, so like he can feel the Force. It was the blind guy
Okay. Yes. Yes.
with the
Yes. I
staff,
can't
and
remember.
then his
Yes.
friend, his big buff friend that was almost Islander, like Pacific Islander style
Yeah.
almost.
Had
So
like a had like a machine gun version of a blaster.
yes, so the I received that too, and I was like, oh man, God, I didn't, and really wanted to read it so I can present it because it seems like a really cool story, like those two. But what I do have that I didn't read and it's interesting as well. It's pretty funny. It's very comedic. It's also somewhat very similar to One Punch Man, and that is Mashel, Magic and Muscles from Viz Media. And story and art for this title is Hajime Komoto. And let's just start by saying, yeah, this is it's got a mix of One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100. So obviously both OP characters, and a bit of some clut like klutziness and just
Okay.
just being dumb. Like they're not like they're smart, but they're not perceived as smart in the sense. So so yeah, like that's the feeling that you get from this manga. But at the same time, it's in a Harry Potter like setting, to tell you the truth.
Huh.
So the main theme of it, I guess, is more magic. It's fantasy magic and everything. There are dragons, I believe, and like goblins and other things. So it's just very similar to Harry Potter. So I kind of look at it as like a OP Harry Potter manga, basically. So you have Sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna be clearing my throat. I just got over like this huge allergy crisis. Cause damn, my allergies are kicking up. But anywho, so you have this character who's like super buff. I get, well, not super buff to tell you the truth, but super strong. So he's super strong. He's like the whole ideal of like the 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, run like 100 miles or 10 miles or whatever. And so he's this character who is Mash,
Okay.
and basically, he works out every day. That's what he does. And that's what his grandfather, or wait, was it his grandfather or is his master? Like 70-year-old. Oh no, no, yeah. So it's like a master's. He just lives with them, and so basically, Mashel, or Mash. I'm sorry, Mash is basically like a born child into this world that doesn't have like a magic mark. Because if you have magic, apparently you have this mark on your face. It's like a line, very similar to Doctor Stone. So when they have
Okay.
like a single dark line or a double dark line, however you're born with it, that you have magic. So Mash does not have that on his face at all, and thus he doesn't really have magic. So this old man knew this, and since birth had been training him to work out, be physically strong, because his I guess his duty in life for raising Mash is to try and get him to curve this whole situation. So he thought making him strong was probably the best idea, and it is. So there's a lot of comedical aspects going on as well, because obviously you have this kind of respectful, but also what, dang it, what's the word it left me? It's just a really simple word. Like ignorant individual who doesn't know too much because he grew up in the countryside, going around, and kind of got himself into this little situation, but they made a deal, and so he had to go to a magic school, and if he can graduate at the top of the class in this one position that he can get, or honors, then I think, like, what was it? I think this guy said that he'll like renounce his role, and he's like a noble or something like that. Oh man, because man, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but the gist is that he's now enrolled in school, in a magic school, and everyone, they they they're not really welcoming to people like that. So long story short, they had to fake it, and I think the old man ended up just kind of like drawing a line on his face, and he's like, "Go to school there, you should be fine. Just don't tell anyone." And so yeah, and then he goes to school. He's there. He's pretty smart. So he's answering and doing things in an intelligent way. And then when it comes to more of like an activity thing, is where he kind of surprises everyone with his super strength. So he's got like that One Punch Man thing. And then at the same time, his grandfather is watching out for him in the shadows in the background, trying to make sure everything's okay and like nothing's gonna happen to him, or at least nothing bad. And ends up being, I guess you can say, oh, what's the word, like proven wrong, that Mash is, he ends up being fine. He can take care of himself. He's doing good, but he's witnessing all these crazy things that are starting to happen, and it's like Mash trying to be polite and like taking something away from an individual, and ended up like ripping his whole clothes off with the string. He
Okay.
tries to open a door, and he ends up just ripping the whole door off, but then has a hard time trying to put the door back on, so he kind of just shoves it in place, and it just breaks in this like weird position and fits in there. So yeah, you got this going on, and then the fact that he's going through school and nobody's really on his side, but he keeps beating the tests and doing good, that he keeps getting accepted, or moving further and further and further. But it's pretty funny. It's really lighthearted. It's funny as heck. Um, when you look at it, definitely looks like Mob Psycho. his strength is One Punch Man, but then the theme is Harry Potter, so that's what you got going on
Okay.
for this title. It's nice. It's really interesting. It's just goofy as hell.
Well, I really appreciate the goofy ones at times because uh, you can get bogged down in the seriousness of some of these fantasy stories, and then you get a goofy one, like Konosuba, and you're just like, "Yep, that's what I needed,
Yeah,
right?
that's
I
exactly what
needed,
you needed.
I needed something that made fun of the genre and wasn't taking itself seriously. Yeah, that's what I need sometimes. Yeah. So, I mean, that sounds like something to definitely add to our reading list.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. If you want to laugh,
yeah.
and just kind
Is
of let it all out, go for it. Do it.
And you said it had a unique, kind of a unique art style to it.
Yeah, yeah. The art style, it's like it leans a little more to the Mob Psycho side with regards to Mash, the main character, and
Okay.
then everything else has kind of got like this Harry Potterish kind of feel to it.
Huh.
So it's really it's interesting. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that I was intending to do another magic school story. Um, I fell into this one because I really liked the author. Over the
Oh,
summer,
nice.
from beginning to end, I read the 16 volumes of Alderman of the Sky, which
Oh,
was
I've heard of that.
fr- freaking fantastic. One of the best stories I've ever read. Um, the the characters were well developed. I loved it so much that when I was done reading it, I needed to read something else by that author. Uh,
Nice.
and so
It
I searched
captivated you.
for, yeah, so I searched for Bokuto Uno, who wrote Reign of the Seven Spellblades, which is a magic school story. It's a very different one because
Mm,
there was no magic in Alderman of the Sky. So he kind of created a completely different kind of
I
universe.
see.
And this one settles is about the students at this place called Kimberly Magic Academy, where you
Okay.
study and you try and become a full-fledged mage. Our two main characters are Oliver Horn, who is very well versed in magic,
Hmm.
uh, but he's also well versed as a swordsman, and he hooks up with, as they describe, Nanao Hibiya, Hibiya, a samurai girl from the distant nation of Yamatsu.
Okay.
So, uh, and they kind of go through this, let's say, um, the story. The Magic Academy is not. Think of Hogwarts if there was death.
Like,
Okay,
so some real stuff here.
there's it's like the opening ceremonies. There are these. They do this magic thing to make everything bloom along the way to the school, and it's this big fancy ceremony. But it also attracted monsters that tried to eat people. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You have,
It's
um,
crazy.
yeah, the beasts that the academy has to look at and research. They're not harmless or tame. Like you have the risk of getting attacked every time you're near one of these beasts. They also have their own labyrinth. So,
Ha.
yay.
There's a
Yeah.
labyrinth in Mashel too, in
Yeah.
the one that I had, because like he has to go through all these tests. So that was one
Yeah.
of them.
Nothing like a school built over a labyrinth, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and apparently the student population is strange as well. Because if you survive the labyrinths
Mhm.
and the casual treachery of walking the hallways, the seniors, the senpais, all kind of seem to be a little mad scientisty,
Uh huh.
and who to make better test subjects than
Uh,
their kohai.
yeah. Oh,
So there's that problem.
that's a
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's a shame right there. Okay.
yeah. Um, he does I mean, the author, Uno, does a really good job at creating a very different kind of story. Like this is not a kind magic school story, in my opinion. Uh, it has its lighter moments, but to me, it seemed a little heavier. But that kind of fits with Alderman of the Sky.
hmm
That was pretty heavy the whole way through, with only a few moments of levity, and this one seems to be following in that, but those footsteps. It does seem a little lighter, but that could just be me reading into it because it's about magic and monsters,
Oh,
as
okay.
opposed to military and plots
hmm
and like kingdoms and plots. So it's
Hmm. Hmm.
it was a very interesting story to start. I don't know whether I'm going to get to the second novel anytime soon, but I'm going to put it in my Kindle so I can try and get to it. Uh, but
Mm.
I think it's worth taking a look, especially if you want something different than if you want a version of Harry Potter that's been amped up a little bit, something where, there is consequences to actions and people may not that
hmm
people didn't die in Harry Potter, but because, please forgive me, Harry Potter fans, but it seems to have a little less a little more jeopardy. Cur- Constant jeopardy because the school is filled with nutcases and dangers, which it seems to be like a survival of the fittest kind of mentality. Hey,
Okay.
welcome, students. If you survive, and we literally mean survive, your time here at Kimberly, you'll be a great wizard, as
Wow.
opposed to, survive as in don't fail out. Well,
S-
failing in this case typically means something bad happened. So, yeah,
That's
that was
trippy. Okay, so yeah,
yeah,
like, and then what I'm getting out of this is like, it's like use your skills to survive in a battle royale kind of
kind
thing.
of. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, there's no tournament, but it is as of yet in my reading, but there
hmm
is
hmm
a lot of danger. So,
Oh man, I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, that's what I think about. That's where my mind has been. Like I said, I spent most of the summer reading one series from beginning to end,
Uh-huh.
and enjoyed every minute. Um,
Nice.
but it's nice to jump out of the characters' heads I've been in all summer long and into somewhere new.
Very nice. Yeah, I've been trying to change it up here and there. Things have been uh mostly magic apparently, especially with the recommendations that we gave right now. Cause yeah.
Yeah, a lot of magic, a
Mhm.
lot of magic's in the air, isn't it?
oh,
As well as pollen, apparently. So
Jesus. Don't get me started with the pollen. It's been killer.
but any other anything else that you've been looking at or reading recently that you want to bring up?
No, I'm still trying to catch up to some other ones, but there is a couple. One that I'm definitely gonna check out, which is the now full volume, first volume for Burn the Witch. I'm gonna check that sucker out because I think the last time I checked it out, it was a one shot, so it was only I think like one chapter.
So
Um,
is this supposed to be more than that was in the very short
mhm.
anime spinoff?
Well,
Is that
yeah, if I remember correctly, that anime spin-off was like basically all of it. Like I think that was it as far as
it
what
was great.
Tito
I would have
Kubo.
loved to have seen more.
Uh-huh, I know. So I'm not sure exactly what this full volume is going to be presenting, to tell you the truth, because I'm actually going in blind. I didn't read any summaries. I just saw it and I was like, I'm definitely going to read it. So I mean, I want to check it out. But of course, there's Burn the Witch, and then same author, Kubo-san released the new Bleach special one shot. So that was another one that I'm gonna check out because I'm a huge Bleach fan, or the author, a fan of the author as well. And so I love his art and his drawings. Storytelling seems really interesting, and I'm just very curious to see what's gonna happen with Bleach because I did hear that like when it officially ended the series for manga, it was not so great. It was like 50-50 here and there. But everyone has a different take, but it was a majority of people saying that it was like 50-50. So now that he came out with this special one shot, I'm not sure if it's like taking this Evangelion route where they're gonna be releasing like these OVAs or movies to try and fix the
Fix all
situation,
the
like
problems.
fill the holes and the gaps here and there.
Yes, thank you, Hideki Anno, for confusing us, confusing an entire generation
Like even
of
more, but
yeah.
yeah, but
But
yeah.
yeah, there are a handful of things I'm going to catch up on too. Like I'm going to read more of 86 and Shield Hero
Oh,
when
nice.
we get the chance, and there's more of my light and fluffies out there. Like didn't I say? Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life
Oh,
to
yes, I
inspire,
remember that one.
nice light and fluffies that you
Mhm,
can read before bed and just be like, ah, that was a nice treat,
mhm,
as
mhm.
opposed to 86 where you're like, oh God, more death. So yeah,
Yeah. Yes, yes, exactly. But I'm probably gonna read one that's like a scary one because my favorite author of all time or mangaka is Junji Ito.
okay,
And like one of the legends of Japanese horror out there, and so he's got one out. I think that's called Censor. So
yes.
yeah. So I wanna check that one out for sure. So
Hey,
mhm.
yeah, you can check out a review for Censor on Honey's Anime. Just look for the manga section.
Very true. We do actually have a review for that up.
Yes, we do.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
and yeah, my guys were like, you know, Ito hit the mark once again with what could be a classic story. So, hey, the guy knows his audience. He knows his craft. So you probably won't be disappointed.
No, I don't think you will. Yeah, actually, we got a lot of. I think there's a lot of manga. Burn the Witch might be one of them because I think that was requested. So we'll probably be going over for that, a
Great.
review for that. So keep an eye out on the website.
Will do. And as we wrap things up here on that time I tuned into a podcast just to listen to someone shill for a publisher, we remind you that this podcast has been made possible with cooperation of companies like Viz Media, Yen Press, Seven Seas Entertainment, J Novel, Square Enix, Kodansha, and most of all, Honey's Anime, which is the place for the anime enthusiast and manga enthusiast. And until next time, for Fonzie and myself, we'd like to thank you for listening and remind you to keep reading.
Yes, it was a pleasure. I had fun. I always do. I'll be reading some more stuff so we can share with you guys. And you all take care. Make sure to follow us, like, and subscribe.